G'day!
Hello,
I'm Kat,
I'm Amy.
and we're your Wednesday couple on
For a couple of gays.
Hi! How are we all doing this week?
Good.
It's good. We've both had our hair
Changed.
I had a bit of a shear
And I had a bit of a
colour. So we're looking fresh and happening for spring
Yeah.
and summer because it's getting hot. It's good. So this week's topic, guys, is what crowd were you in high school? So,
You can go first.
yeah, I will go first this week. I was not necessarily in a crowd. I had my mother at my primary school, my father at my high school. Getting an idea? So, I never really fit into any kind of group. I used to hang with the nerds sometimes. I used to talk to the popular kids. My favourite thing was to do canteen duty. I had sort of four close friends who I kept and still speak to. Well, speak to three of them still to this day. I hung out with the experimental group, so the smokers, etc. And I went to school, I was in high school from 1999 to 2004. So, or 2005, sorry, I finished college. And it was, the school system's a little bit different over here to the States. So we have kindergarten to year 6, and then we have, depending on whether you're public or private, I went to public school, and then we have year 7 to year 10, and then we have years 11 and 12 are college. Just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the different stages. So, I was very much sort of my own kind of identity and didn't really hang out with anyone in particular, or a particular group, and didn't really fit into a particular group. I just liked to do my own thing and, spoke to different kids in every single class that I had. And when I was in sort of end of year 9, year 10 was a really hard year for me. I sort of started really identifying with my sexuality more and really finding that I didn't fit the mould and that I was, I had bigger dreams and bigger plans for myself than a lot of the kids my age did. And I had been bullied and, high school, as Chantel and Kerry said, high school is, you always think that you're never going to survive it, and it's, it's a horrible thing for any kid experiences difficulties in high school, because I think that's, especially nowadays, it's when kids really find themselves. And I was really sort of coming into my skin, and I found that, there's the kids that were my age, I didn't want to hang out with them because I had nothing in common with them. I had big dreams and plans, and I knew what I wanted and how I was going to get it, and a lot of these kids were, looking towards college as if it was going to be the be-all and end-all, and everybody kept on telling me once you get to college it all changes. Well, I got to college and it did change a little bit, but it also didn't change a lot. I was ready for full-time work, and I wanted to work full-time, but I knew that I had to get my year 12 certificate and finish school. And so year 11 for me was a horrible, really hard year. My grandfather passed away. I was depressed and and going through a lot of anxiety attacks and had a lot of anxiety and a lot of anger, and was still really not really trying to find my sexuality because I already knew that I was gay, but trying to let people accept me as being gay. And so it was an interesting time. College and end of high school and college was a really interesting time for me. By the time year 12 came around, I think I was doing maybe 2 classes, and I was working. I went straight into full-time work at a department store, and I was already long finished. So the only friends that I really kept were friends that were, that kept in contact with me. All my friends were much older. I was, making money, and I was determined to move out on my own and do my own thing. So I was in a very different place to a lot of my friends. So I think that's part of the reason why I didn't fit into any particular crowd in high school or in college. I was kind of an all-rounder. I just hung out with everyone, essentially. I will try and find some pictures of me in high school, just like Chantel and Kerry did. I'm sure I can find them somewhere. If I do, we'll insert them at the end. Over to you, my love.
Well, I know that I don't have any photos of me in high school because they're all bad.
I think I might have one or two hiding in a deep, dark crevice.
All right, fair enough. Well, I guess it really depends on what stage of high school we're talking about. But I guess at the start of high school, I was very impressionable, and I sort of just hung out with. It was just a combination. We weren't really the popular kids, but we were sort of like a step down from there, and we were just sort of did our own thing and had fun. The older I got, the more impressionable I got. And I became one of the experimental crowd. I remember sitting out the back of the high school when I was in year 10, just smoking, and then we ran out of smoke, so we decided to light up some tea bags. That was bad. That was very bad. It was disgusting. But they look like tobacco, so why not? But yeah, massive head spins. And in college, I kind of did year 11 at a rate where I did more classes than I needed to, so that in year 12 I only had to do half the year and I still got my certificate. So it was a pretty full-on year in year 11, but year 12 I was very much in the experimental.
Yeah, she was one of those kids that I'm sure that every teacher thought
I was a stoner.
Yeah. She was one of those kids that like you'd see in class and you'd think that they were so cool, and then realise that they were there's a fine line they're walking right there. This could go one of two ways.
Well, it's funny because my parents actually moved me from my high school to my college.
And she went to private school, by the way.
Yeah, I went to private school. And they moved me to another school on the other side of town.
Hugo. Sorry, guys.
Just because they thought that I had bad influences, but what they didn't know was I was the bad influence.
Well, they learned that after.
But yeah, so...
Amy's always been able to, even though she's very quietly spoken She has always managed to have a bit of group control.
Oh, really?
Even if she doesn't realise it. So, and I think that stemmed from her in being the kid in the playground that got lots of kids to join in her activities.
Yes.
I think it also didn't help that you had lots of older brothers and a sister who had already been through the school system, so everybody knew who you were. Whereas I was the first one through in my family, and I think because everybody thought, both my parents were teachers, that I would, be this good kid and that I would follow all the rules and that I would, go to university and become this, school teacher or, something fancy. Wasn't me. And I must admit, if I had my time again, I would probably become a school teacher, which is really sad. But, well, for me, I've fallen into the family business, essentially. That's what I'd love to do. But I don't regret any of the decisions that I've made, because I can honestly tell you, sitting here at 24, I've achieved a lot more than some of my friends that have gone to uni, or some of my acquaintances who've gone to uni and TAFE and things, and I'm very established and settled, and I know what I want, and still very much have that older mentality of, I think that's why I married someone older, was because I, sort of had a plan for my life. So, thanks, Hugo. So
that's
I
about
think,
it, really.
Yeah, well, as I said, I'll try and dig up some photos for you, because I was pretty hilarious, especially in my early years of high school, and you can almost see the progressional change for me from being this good teacher's daughter to rebellious, independent,
Yes, very much.
strong-willed. And Amy's high school photos are actually pretty hilarious as well, because you can just see that she was trouble on two legs. So guys, rate, comment, subscribe, share. We're still doing this Born This Way Foundation stuff. Chantel and Kerry still haven't answered my question. I would like some merchandise. Is there any way that I can enter this competition, please?
Yeah, fully. I'll rate and share and do all that.
Yep. To all the other couples, we hope you're having great weeks.
Well, to everyone, really.
Yeah, to everyone. We hope you're having great weeks. And I think that's it. I think
we'll see you soon.
We'll see you when we see you. We'll see you when we're looking at you.
All right.
Say bye.
Bye.
Say bye. Say bye.